Hello, family, beautiful beings of planet Earth and beyond. Welcome to another video on the channel of Ancient Ascension. My name is Paula, and today I just wanted to share a prayer that I've been holding, that I've been walking with for a while now. Today is Earth Day, and I'm just hanging at home in Ecuador, just enjoying my mama, our Mother Earth, and all the peace and the beauty and the divine reflection that she gives us in this life. And it just, made me wake up to that prayer. And as I was holding the prayer once again, I thought that I would share it with each of you because to me, it's an important one and it's one that I really care about. And it's time, family. It's time to wake up to how sacred you are, to how sacred your life is, to how sacred every breath you take is, and how sacred this opportunity to exist on planet Earth is. And it's not only time to wake up to that sacredness that you hold within your chest, but also to claim it, to claim your sacredness. You're not just a human being existing, wandering on this planet. You are a sacred, divine expression of Source. And everything that you've gone through in your life and will go through is a sacred experience for the evolution of your soul. And I've been holding this prayer for a while now because I myself went through this process of realizing how sacred this life is and how sacred my body is and how sacred everything that has happened and will happen in this life is. And I'm just praying that we can see ourselves more clearly now. We can see ourselves more clearly through the wind, through this earth. I mean, the earth is such a beautiful reflection of the beauty that we hold. Through the water that we drink, that we get to bathe in and swim in, and through the sacred fire that we get to spend time around. Everything in this reality for me is a reflection of who I am and what I really am made of. And every time I spend time with the earth and just see the ease and the effortlessness of her and her spirit, it reminds me of that ease that is within me and that beauty that's within me and that stability that's within me. Because remember that we only exist through the earth, through the air, through the water, and through the fire. And if you see those elements or spirits as something very sacred in this life, it's time to recognize that you are just as sacred as those things because we are them. We only exist through them. And I'm just praying that we can honor our lives as the divine expression of Source that it truly is, how interconnected we all are and how interconnected everything is in this life. And through that claiming of our sacredness and that sacred power that lives within our chest, it is also time, my family, to claim your vision and claim your dreams. It's one thing, this is something I'm realizing, to have a vision in our life or to have a dream, something that we're working towards. It's one thing to have it and to see it, but it's another thing to claim it and own it and affirm that we are stepping into that timeline and that frequency to achieve that vision or to call in that vision or to embody and create that vision. Because everything that you desire to be in your life or everything that you desire to receive in your life, those dreams, those things that you have within your heart, we all know it's already existing. It's already there. Creation already is, and it always has been. So through claiming it, you remember that you already have it. And it's not about, for me, it's not about calling things in. It's about recognizing that the journey has already begun. That as soon as I claim my sacredness and I start to recognize and see wow, I'm walking my most sacred path in this life. What makes something sacred? What is different than a bonfire and a sacred fire in ceremony space is simply by the way we treat it. we treat it as something sacred. You know, when we have a sacred fire in the sacred ceremony space, the only reason it becomes sacred is because of how much we care for it, how we only feed it good things. We, put our prayers into the fire. We put tobacco into the fire. We put cedar into the fire. We never put trash into the fire. And, it's the same thing with ourselves. What makes our life path sacred is by claiming and choosing that, yes, I am walking a sacred path because of the way that I treat myself, because of the way that I view my life, because of the way that I embody this sacred energy. And whether we see ourselves as sacred or not, my family, you are so sacred. You are so, so sacred. And your life and everything you've gone through is the most sacred gift you will ever receive in your life. But I'm sharing this prayer because I truly feel that it is time that we all wake up to our own sacred magic. We all wake up to that sacred power that lives within us, and we start to see ourselves and treat ourselves as the most sacred being in our lives, because each of us are the center of our own universes. I am the center of my world. That's how it's designed. You are the center of your world. Everything that you feel and experience is being flushed through the center of you, your heart. Your heart is the filter of your reality. What we receive from the bottom energies as well as the top all gets pushed through this amazing intelligent space that is the heart. And so I'm praying for each of you who find this video, and maybe it won't be a lot because my channel's been up and down because I'm so busy, working here in Ecuador, but I'll have a break soon. I'll have more time. But I am really praying for each of you who are watching this and finding this video that this is your sign, this is your message to start to treat and see yourself as a sacred being. Because that is what you are, and that is how you deserve to be treated. And no one else in this life is going to treat you as sacred until you cultivate that sacredness within your heart. You start to see and feel everything that you are as the most sacred expression of yourself, of source that you can be in this life. I'm praying that you can slow down and soften into your sacredness. The deeper that I've walked on this, what I call my sacred path, I work a lot within the plant medicine world. I'm in service to the people who want to heal. It's not so much a chasing anymore. It's a softening into and an embodying of what this life, what God wants me to be in this life. It's not I need to put on a face, I need to act a certain way. It's not like a chasing of these things. The more we walk deeper into our sacred path, which to me is the path that is most aligned to who we are, our most authentic expression of ourselves, the most authentic path that we can find in this life, the one that feels so perfectly aligned and challenges us and allows us to grow and allows us to make mistakes and see the beauty in this world. So I'm praying that you can find that path within yourself first, and you can slow down as you walk on that path. For me, a sacred path is not about chasing and doing all these things that we don't want to do. It's a slowing down, and it's a softening into our sacredness. It is a completely different energy than the majority of this world functions in. It's a slowing down, and it's a softening, and it's a trusting of allowing the guidance on our heart to take lead. Because our heart will lead us to our most sacred expression of ourself, our most sacred, authentic self in this life. So I'm praying that you can slow down and soften into that sacredness within yourself and begin that journey. I'm also praying that you can give yourself some grace. Give yourself grace in this life and in this world. We live in a crazy, crazy world, where sometimes we have to do things we don't want to do, and, making our way to our sacred path is a journey, So I'm just praying that you can give yourself grace and that you can give yourself that patience and that awareness that, you're a human being. You're a human being. We make mistakes. We are learning as we go, trying to uncover and find our most authentic expression of self, which to me is the most sacred thing that we can do in this life, is, walking that path that I don't care what anyone else thinks. I don't care how crazy this seems and sounds. It's like it feels so aligned and so like magic and sacred that I'm doing it, so be patient and have grace with yourself at this time as well. And I'm praying that you can be clear in your energy now, family, that you can be super clear in what you want, in who you are, in what you choose to do each day, and you can claim your power. And to me, claiming our power is claiming our sacredness, is claiming how sacred we are and how sacred this gift of life is in our life. So I'm praying that you can be clear and direct in your energy and claim what is already yours. Claim what you already are, which is an extremely sacred being. And I just want to remind each of you that God, Great Spirit, Creator, whatever it is that you refer this magic force to, that God put your heart in your body, in your vessel for a reason. God put those dreams and those visions and those desires within your mind and your heart for a reason. And as well as the struggles, everything you've gone through, all the experiences you've had have been placed in your path for a reason. And you are not lost, my family. You are not lost. You are walking forward on your most authentic, capital P, path in this life. And I just encourage each of you to start to see yourself as a sacred being, to start to see everything that you do in your life as sacred. All your relations in this life are so sacred. It's time to see every step, every breath, every moment that we're feeling the sunshine, every time we're sitting upon the earth, like, wow, what a sacred opportunity to be here and connect to these spirits and connect to myself through these spirits, through the natural world. Like, how sacred an opportunity to live in this physical reality and figure out how to be myself, how to be the most authentic version of myself, how to live out this mission that has been tapping on my heart since I was a child. Like, everything is so sacred in this life, and your body, your mind, how intelligent you are, how much you feel in this life is so sacred. And I don't want this video to be long. It's just a reminder, and that's what I'm praying for in this life is that you can recognize that the most sacred thing in this reality is life itself. And you are that. You are life itself. And start to recognize what a blessing it is that we get to wake up and see another day, that we get to watch the sun shine and arc over the sky each day, that we get to be held by the moon each night, that we have that fresh water in our house, that we have food in abundance in our lives. And, if you really try to make sense of this life, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense how we're all here. It doesn't make sense how everything is so interconnected and we have all this abundance in our lives now. It's time to recognize how sacred everything we have is, and what a miracle it is that we get to be here. And I promise you, if you start seeing yourself as a sacred being, you start seeing this reality as a sacred reality, especially the spirits that make up this reality, the earth, the air, the fire, the water, how sacred those spirits are, how sacred that life form is, your life will change. Your life will change. It's just, so much about healing now is about healing the mind and taking these chains off of our mind. I've seen so many people heal from the Western world come here to Ecuador, and it's like people's problems are not, the people who obviously have the resources to come and travel and heal, their problems are not having clean water. Their problems are not having enough food or having a roof over their head. The problems are all between their two ears. And I'm going to make another video soon about that in this new perspective that I found on it. So that'll be coming. And so much of the power also lies within our perspective, within how we see things, how we treat things. Instead of a normal fire, I call this a sacred fire. Instead of, just the earth, just the planet that we live on, I consider her a sacred mother, a sacred being. We can always shift our perspective, which helps us heal more, which helps us see ourselves more clearly, because everything we see in the outside is a reflection of how we can see ourselves more clearly. I truly believe that, and I experience that in my life. So start with yourself. It's time, family. I want you all to see and recognize how sacred you are, how sacred your life is, how sacred that power within your heart and that those pulsations that come through the center of your chest, how sacred that energy is. Those dreams, those feelings, those crazy thoughts that you have, like your heart, tells you to do one thing and your mind is like, I can't do that. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. That is the most sacred energy that we can feel and experience in our life, is the one that comes through the center of our chest, that eternal essence of who we are. And it's time to recognize yourself as a sacred being. And it's time to claim yourself as that sacred being, walking your most sacred path on this earth. And just with that perspective, my family, starting to see and treat yourself as a sacred being, taking care of this vessel, taking care of yourself, having that grace towards yourself will change your life. So just praying for that for each of you today. You are sacred, you are loved, you are divinely held in this reality. Thank you so much for watching. Promise I'll be making more videos soon. I have a big break coming up from work after this next month or so. So I'm really excited to share more with each of you. Thank you so much. All my love, all my blessings, all my support in your sacred path.